Hello there, Aries, and welcome to your monthly forecast. This is for the month of October. It's really great to see everybody that's returning, and I'd like to give a nice warm welcome to anybody that's brand new. If you are brand new, let me introduce myself. My name is Ashbaugh, and each and every month, this is how I organize the readings on this channel. I like to begin with some channeled information, and this is when I connect with my guides and my own intuition and just relay what I'm seeing, feeling, and hearing. After that, we do a much deeper dive, and I use a full Celtic cross spread to look at the highs, the lows, and all the in-betweens for the month ahead. I also like to expand the forecast to make sure that I hit on particular areas, and these areas include health, wealth, love, and destiny. As always, these readings can be applied to your sun, your rising, and to your moon signs. You can also watch on behalf of someone that you care about in your life. If you don't happen to know sun, rising, and moon, then just stick with the sign that you were born under, and that'll give you all the information that you need for the month ahead. So as you can see, this is a really comprehensive view of everything that's coming through for the month, and I hope you enjoy it. If you do, please remember to stick around until the very end, because at that point, I will go through some ways that you can give back to the channel. Everything that you see here is viewer supported, so when you like and subscribe, when you give a contribution, when you share this on social media or book an appointment, that's what makes it possible. So again, I'll get into more of that at the end of the forecast, but right now, right here, let's get into your channeled message for the month of October. This month, when I selected a deck of cards and I began to meditate, I was actually shown visually two cards in my mind's eye, and what I saw was the Seven of Pentacles and then the Nine of Pentacles. Focus first on the Seven of Pentacles. If you look at that card, there's someone that's kind of leaning on a piece of gardening equipment like a rake or a shovel, and you see growth happening. There's like this bush that hasn't quite grown all the way. And there's this feeling that you need a little bit more. You understand what work has to happen. It often can indicate someone that is coming through a financial difficulty, but is fighting to get through it. And so there's this perseverance. There's a little bit of hunger and desire and a want or a need to get past that. And then there's also the resources to make it happen. So that card is basically saying don't give up. And then the Nine of Pentacles is the end result, which is feeling sustained, feeling fulfilled, satiated, and independent. And so what I'm seeing is that for many of you, this is the 1-year journey that is kind of ahead for you. The next thing that my guides showed me was to focus on the ground, and I could see growth happening beneath the surface, but it hadn't yet sort of pushed through the soil, the earth. The message here is to pay attention to hidden opportunities, to untapped resources, and also just to be kind to yourself and remember that anything worth doing usually takes some time. You should enjoy the process of creation, enjoy once you've made that sort of accomplishment, and always keep your mind focused for what's next. So, the kind of lens of agriculture that came through here is important, because if you have a farm, you're always thinking of this season, next season, and you're rotating things. Your resources in your life they're very similar this month, what I'm seeing, and I would also say for the next quarter of the year. You want to be looking at what you're needing to get by right now, but realize that a lot of the seeds that you're planting are going to spring forth in the next 6, 8, or even 12 months, and those are going to be much more fruitful than what's happening right now. So you want to keep focused on that, be optimistic, keep feeding that future vision, and don't let the present sort of pull you into a place where you're feeling like it's never going to happen, because that's a surefire way to push off opportunity. And again, if something falls away, a friendship, a job, a love interest, or some opportunity in your life, it's actually doing this for your benefit. As I wrote all of this down in automatic writing, the message that I captured was you'll be making room for new opportunities this month, and you'll be challenged to manage time and resources. And once you kind of see the big picture, then everything is going to start to fall into place. Just remind yourself to be patient. A lot of times when I do talk about the Nine of Pentacles, I'll mention that there's a little snail at the bottom. This indicates that success doesn't always happen overnight. It can take time. It also reminds you to drink in, to savor, and to enjoy not only that final outcome, but especially the journey and all of the things that you're doing along the way. You really want to put your love, your time, and your affection into everything that you're doing, relationship, work, and just self-improvement. It's the journey that matters, okay? All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the messages coming through in the Celtic Cross. Just a reminder, I like to remain quiet at this point, but afterwards we'll pull up each and every card and relate it to what you need to focus on for the month of October. All right, let's begin with your Catalyst card. A quick reminder that the Catalyst functions as a way for you to both access the highest opportunity and energy for the month, but also to kind of push away anything that could pull you off path. And we have a reverse card, and I want to just pull it up right so we can read it and look at the imagery. And it says, "Journey by moonlight, but the most important piece is believe in magic." Now, whenever I see the moon card, this can tap into desires. So the fact that we see the moon on this card is also indicating that this is a month to kind of get back to what your true passion or desire is. That's something that, for those of you that follow me a lot, you know this is a theme. I think that we find the most success, happiness, and fulfillment in our lives when we're following that true soul passion. This card is telling you to get back to what makes you happy, and to understand that success in a large part has to do with the belief in yourself, the belief that you can do it. Magic, I believe magic is real. And we're not just talking about magic with like rituals and potions and all of that. We're talking about the magic of believing and manifesting. That's really where your true power is this month. If you believe in your capacity to do something, if you believe in an opportunity and your ability to find a way to it, you're half the way there. If you don't, it's never going to happen because you've already sort of given up. So get back to your passion this month. Trust that you can work towards it. Trust that you are just as deserving of that as anybody. And know that one of the purposes on this planet is to not just gain knowledge and experience, but also to experience love and joy. So this month, find a way back to that. And that's going to set everything into a positive trajectory. Your central card is the Six of Pentacles. I like this because this is basically showing the balance that I was asking for earlier, or I was talking about earlier when we were looking at the 7 and the 9. By the way, the 7 showed up and we'll talk about that in a second. Let's start with the 6 first. I'm pulling it upright, but the card was actually reversed. When you look at the upright illustration, you'll notice that the person in the card is holding scales. And they can't give to everything or everyone. There is a sort of necessary component to the Six of Pentacles, which means that you have to decide what's worth your time and what's worth your energy. And sometimes just to say no, or to basically draw a line in the sand if something doesn't feel right. It can also go back to sort of like your standards, your morals, your wishes. If something kind of is pulling you away from something that just on a core level doesn't feel right, then you should stand up for yourself. Now, what I like with the Six of Pentacles is that it says when you do this, when you stand up for yourself, set a priority, and make a choice, then you have enough. You have more than enough. It's not going to be crazy abundance, but the Six of Pentacles is my bare minimum for being able to get by. And to also, for those of you that are trying to make a transition into something else, this is showing you that you have enough sort of foundation to make that change, to take that leap of faith. Crossing the Six of Pentacles, you have the Seven of Wands, and the Seven of Wands is a card that shows you not only are things going to be picking up when we're looking at work or opportunities in your life, but you're going to need to start to pick some priorities, and that goes hand in hand with what we saw with the Six of Pentacles. It's about choices, and in this case, it's about sometimes drawing that line in the sand, as I was saying, and making sure that people know what you're willing to do, what you're not willing to do, and not being afraid to delegate, to ask for help, to push back, to say no. So these cards are very complementary. Again, the same message here. And what I'm seeing here also is that as you start to establish this newfound sense of self-confidence and empowerment and purpose, people are going to look at you in a different light. This is really important for those of you that are trying to get ahead or trying to get something finished in your life. This is setting the tone for respect, success, and pulling in higher frequency relationships. Now, as we look at the past, which is really the foundation for all the things that are coming through this month, there's something from a relationship point of view that needs to be looked at. We have the Three of Cups reversed, and the Three of Cups in and of itself is a fantastic card. It oftentimes shows celebrations, a chance for new people to come into your life, such as a partner or a new friend, and it's a very social card. When you pull that card in reverse, it's about you pulling back from those social situations. So some of you may just be feeling burned out a little bit, or you might be feeling like you want to focus on a project or a person in your life. I think that there is a relationship for many of you that's either in question or in crisis this month, and you want to fix it. And if that's the case, I completely understand why you're pulling back. No matter what's going on in your life, the reversal says you should try to turn things around by the end of the month, because you could miss out on an opportunity this month with work, with life, with fun, and you don't want to pull back too much. There are people around you that literally do want to support you. So try to do your best to find that balance between privacy, downtime, and also continuing to network, continuing to put yourself out there in a positive way so that you can grow and meet new people. As I look at the recent past here, we have the Nine of Wands. It is reversed. And I think for many of you, this has to do with self-care. If you look really closely at the card, you'll notice that the person has a bandage. A lot of times this is indicating that you have been fighting and working and pushing really hard to get something done. So for those of you that are in school and studying really hard, or if you're working and it's like a 50, 60 hour work week, or you're working 2 or 3 jobs like many of you are, this card is showing that you need to take care of yourself. Nines are warnings and they're also encouragement. The 10 of Wands can show like stress, particularly in the back. So you want to make sure that if there's any part of your body that's feeling overburdened, that you take the break now so that you don't get sick, don't get the flu, etc., or don't pull a muscle. So this is a self-care card, and it also comes through as a reminder of your own personal strength. I'd like to pull 2 cards side by side here. Again, the Nine of Wands, which shows this perseverance. Reverse, which can show doubt in that ability to persevere or to survive. And then we have the ultimate card of strength and survival, strength. And this is in the ego. This is you. This is the truth. This divine feminine card of being able to make things happen. There's actually a little bit of magic with the strength card. Much like the High Priestess, she can navigate through things. She can sometimes bend will and perception around her. This happens sometimes more in a nonverbal way, but it's no less magic than the High Priestess. So again, getting back to this belief in magic, believe in yourself, believe in your strength. That strength will then be able to protect you. And if there's anyone in your life that is abusing their situation, whether it's a position at work or it's a partner and they're abusing their relationship status with you, whatever's going on, there's a chance this month to set things even and set expectations and really establish yourself as an equal partner in whatever's going on. That equity is really important because your outcome card is the Devil reverse, and that's about releasing chains or releasing anything that is codependent. So stand up for yourself, know that you deserve it, know that you have the power and strength to do it, and know that for some of you, I'm seeing an entrepreneurial spirit come out here, which is, you know what, I think I could do this on my own, and so you have that energy coming through. Your crowning card is one of recovery. I talked about the Seven of Pentacles in my channeled message. I was visualizing it, and it came through here in the spread in the crowning position. So I love that this is right there at the top of everything, saying that when you allow yourself to really nurture your mind, body, and spirit, stand up for what matters, push back on things that don't, then you start to make room, which is what we also talked about in the channeled message. When you make room for new opportunities, then new things can come in. Sometimes we live in that fear that if we let go, we'll be alone, or that something won't be there to replace it. I challenge you this month to imagine something better than whatever that thing was that you're holding on to. Let go of the codependent energy that kind of wants to come in the form of the Devil, and for some of you, even the Seven of Pentacles, and know that you can overcome it, you can do better, and that there's a wonderful month, year, and I would say life ahead of you. So sometimes we just need that reminder and that push in the right direction. It's okay to stand up for yourself. It's okay to take a leap of faith. For some of you, that means going out on your own, whatever that means, whether it's a relationship or a new job opportunity. I really like what is ahead of you. And in fact, that's what we see here in the near future with the King of Cups. New love, new opportunity, new passion, improved emotional well-being, and I really I like everything about this card. I will say that for some of you, there is a little bit of a pause prior to jumping into the next relationship. As I said, you need to heal whatever sort of baggage or karmic energy is existing from the past so that you can get into that space of truly appreciating what wants to come through here. One last note with the Seven of Pentacles. With respect to finances, this is a time to be very cautious, very sort of conservative, and adhere to the new positive habits that you're making. By doing this, by shifting things, you're going to be on a path towards more happiness, more sustainability, more abundance. That's what the 7 wants to bring. But you have to heal, and you have to acknowledge what needs to change. So change wants to happen this month, but change can only happen if you're ready and you embrace all of the sort of ups and downs that come with change. And they're not really downs, they're just sacrifices, and sometimes looking in at things that scare us. I know this is not necessarily the moon card, but the moon is pretty big here, and when I see the moon, it also is about facing fears or uncertainties. And it can be your own, it can be your partner's, it can be your friends, it can be something that you've just slid underneath the rug and thought, I'm not going to deal with that until I have to. This is the month where you have to deal with it. If it's a financial one, it's fixable because this is a good card, it's upright, and it's in a position that shows me that you can kind of pull the reins back, especially with strength in the ego. Talking a little bit about strength, this is a divine feminine card. As I said earlier, this has a lot of sort of connections for me to the Empress. I would also say the High Priestess. What's different about strength is that it's a non-verbal card. This is very demonstrative. So if you've ever noticed that when someone comes into the room, they sort of command a certain energy or attention, it's because they know how to use their body and how to use nonverbal language to their advantage. In your visualization this month, I want you to imagine that you have the energy to push through anything, that you are strong, that you are someone that people can respect. You have to believe that and integrate it with your own sort of your body language and also your energy for others to believe it as well. As I looked at this card a second time, my guides whispered to me, strength is subtle. That's the message for you this month. And what I get with that is that sometimes you don't have to make a big, obvious stand. The strong decision could be that you are going to decide to give notice, file for divorce, walk away, or simply choose a new direction. Rather than getting into an argument or getting really worked up, you are strong, confident, and poised, and you take that sort of energy and redirect it into something that's much more worthy of your time and energy. And because of that, people will look at you as being independent, as being strong. Strength is not always, how much you flex. It's what you decide to do. Strength this month is measured by your actions and how they affect others. And that's the subtlety here. You don't have to have this big show of energy, and not everyone has to be present, and not everyone has to know about it. You're just deciding what's best for you and what's going to allow you to feel strong. And if anyone in your life is taking away that sense of independence or is kind of chipping away at your own ego and your confidence, this month you have a chance to evaluate how much of that is just you being sensitive and how much might actually be someone that is pushing the boundaries or the limits too far. You get to make really important choices this month that are going to affect your entire future. As we look in the environment, there's a lot of energy surrounding ideation this month, brainstorming, new ideas. Some of you may be onto something that you could ultimately end up patenting or selling or getting other people really, really excited about. So I love the King of Wands energy. It's a very, very strong management card, and it's great for business. And when you combine strength with the King of Wands, again, that's the entrepreneurial energy that I'm seeing for many of you. The one thing that you want to be careful of with this card in reverse is that it can show a closed mind or a limited way of doing something. And there's an encouragement for you or someone around you to be more imaginative when it comes to possibilities and procedures. And I know the word procedure sounds very sort of business-like, but it could just be sort of like how you're eating, how you're spending your time, how you're approaching possibilities in life. Stay as open as possible and try new things, take risks. This is where the Three of Cups could be good. Allowing other people or different points of view into your life will help you sort of feel things out, and it also gives you perspective. Is this something that is singular and unique to you, or is it something that other people are sharing? And I think that many of you could find that you have more in common with others than you might imagine, and whether this is the idea that you want to share or something that feels like it's been tough for you to deal with, I see good company coming through for you in the future, but it takes that, again, leap of faith or willingness to kind of put yourself out there in order to see it. The King of Wands reverse also is a gentle reminder to help people when they want to receive the help. as an intuitive, as a light worker, as a teacher, whatever your role may be. The King of Wands shows that you have rich knowledge and you probably have a really good idea of how to help someone with something. If they don't want to hear it yet, or they're not ready to receive that message, the timing is off. Wait for them to come to you. And focus instead on getting your own affairs in order. We mentioned, for many of you, this is financial. The 6 and 7 of Pentacles are showing financial recovery, growth, basically a balancing of things, and I think that's really important. For some of you, it could be physical. If you're overdoing it, if you feel overexerted, you have to take care of that. Could also be letting go of an old habit. The 3 of Cups can show consuming too much alcohol or eating too much or doing something where it's basically an excess. Bring balance into your own life. Use that great management ability to get yourself as strong as possible, and then allow for your own passion, your own energy, your excitement to bring new things into your life. I'm going to talk about new relationships in a moment, but we have to look at the old first because I saw the 3 of Cups in the deep past. All right, we have hopes and fears here, 3 of Swords, 3 of Cups. This is showing me for many of you, there could have been a cycle in the past where people were coming through and it just didn't work out. You might feel like you haven't had luck in love, or people have pushed you around a little bit, or that you haven't been able to sort of tell people what you want. This month is a chance for you to do some internal work first, to feel satiated, happy, and passionate about your own life, your own path. For many of you, that can be a sort of private space where you're not necessarily focusing so much on your partner or future or past partner. It's just about you. Are you happy? Do what you need to do this month to get to that happy space, to get to a place where you're healthy, and then to get to a place where you can stand up for your beliefs. And once you've done that, you can overturn this card. It's already reversed, which shows the healing has begun. But for some of you, there has to be some sort of a cord that is released, some sort of connection from the past. This could be the decision, I'm going to walk away from someone, because it's connected to the King of Wands reverse, which can be a very pushy person or someone who isn't allowing you to spread your wings. And if that's the case, as again in the ego we see here, you have to stand your ground. For some of you, you might be dealing with a truth that came through that surprised you. And sometimes we wish that we could go back to not knowing, but the devil can't, that can't happen. When something comes out, it has to come out. So the devil card, if we look closely, it's always about the chains. I don't pay so much attention to the illustration behind there. That's more your fears. It's a symbol. But if we look at what really matters, there is the lovers basically here, but they are bound by something that isn't really true anymore. They are kind of trapped in a situation that isn't working for them. So what you have to deal with is whatever is causing this. A lot of times that can be a lie, it can be infidelity, it can be an addiction, it can be something that happened maybe even with money that puts you at odds with someone that you care about. Sometimes when someone passes away and then inheritance isn't evenly distributed, it can cause problems like that. Whatever it is for you, it feels like there is a feeling that you are owed something or the other person is owed something, and that needs to be resolved or released this month. With the 3 of Cups and the Devil card together, a lot of times this can show infidelity or a third person or third party coming in and kind of driving a stake between you and someone that you care about. So even in a non-dating situation like a friendship or a family, this can be someone coming in and basically making you just bringing out the worst in the two people that usually love each other. So if that's the case, remove that person from the equation and see if you can fix it. If it is something that happened in a partnership where it involves infidelity, a lie, or some sort of hidden truth that the partner shares, you have to decide if this is what you want. As always, the decision is yours and yours alone, but you really need to do some soul searching to see what's best for you this month. Now, for those of you that might be single and looking for love, the King of Cups and the King of Wands are indicating two people that share a lot in common, but have very different ways of communicating. This is a very emotional, very sort of open person. This one is more demonstrative. And so although I think when it comes to intimacy, there may be compatibility. When it comes to being able to just communicate and share feelings, definitely King of Cups will have an easier time doing that. King of Wands is going to be someone who shows more than says that. So I think the challenge for some of you this month is how do we take it, out of the intimate space, so like the bedroom, and bring that intimacy into communications, into day-to-day sort of relationship energy. And so for some of you, that is going to be the challenge. And it could also be that you need to figure out, is this thing going to be more than just a casual sort of affair? And that's really what we have with the Three of Cups. And it could be an affair. It's interesting that that word came to me because of the devil. And when you get into a situation where someone isn't ready to put themselves out there or isn't ready because of a third party, then this is a warning that comes through. This could also be a same-sex relationship this month or a platonic friendship, because we have two king cards. So if that's the case, again, the same sort of things came through. I would say that there's still a possibility for a love connection this month, but you have to heal yourself. You have to also be really honest with yourself and your partner with your expectations. If they can't meet you halfway, that's the litmus test that you need to know whether this is going to have legs to stand on. Overall, I really like what's coming through this month. And even though we have the devil card in the outcome, I see this as a chance for you to turn the tide. For me, the devil card comes through to help you see what you need to work on. It's sort of like a wink and a nod to you. Hey, you know that this is something that you haven't been dealing with. Either deal with it or it's going to basically take control of you. So whether that's a fear, whether that's a way someone's treating you, whether that is something that just doesn't feel right, when you face it this month, that's when the magic happens. That's when you start to believe in yourself, and you start to have this new opportunity on the horizon. And with the Seven of Pentacles here, we see the growth, we see the movement towards the 9, which is what was in my meditation. And I really want you to get to the 9, because 9 is independence, self-sufficiency, not worrying about having someone else in there to kind of define you. It's true independence. And I think that's the overarching energy that wants to come through this month as well, because that's in your ego. All right, let's expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. As we look at your health card, which by the way is a sort of nexus between your mind, your body, and your spirit, we have an impartiality card. As we look at it upright, you notice that same sense of balance that we got at the center when we looked at the Six of Pentacles. So this month is not about going to one extreme or the other. It's about making smart choices. Smart choices in what you eat, how you spend your time, how much you sort of burn the candle. You can't burn it at both ends, and that's really what this is showing. The other thing, impartiality, is that you want to make sure that when you're looking at people that are making decisions about your health, doctors and other sort of health professionals in your life, that they have an open mind, and that you're also keeping an open mind to what they're saying. As we looked at the environment, this could be one of the biggest struggles for you this month. Make sure that you're being heard, but also make sure that you're practicing good, active listening skills as well. So remain impartial to others, make sure that they're doing the same for you. And just as a way to sort of look at relationships this month, if there's a way to kind of pull yourself back, have some distance, sleep on things before you make a big decision, that's going to make a big difference for you. Looking at other energies and pieces of advice coming through strictly in the realm of health, the first thing I want to talk about is in the past, again, not going to any sort of extreme this month. Eating too much, drinking too much, again, abusing any sort of substances. For some of you, that could be sort of a thing that you need to walk away from. Others of you may be experiencing a sense of sadness, loss, or grief And then that can sometimes manifest itself in other health issues, whether that's getting sick or even the stress or anxiety that you hold here. It can actually harm your heart. So you've got to heal your emotional self this month so that your body can continue to be strong. This is your temple. This is the vehicle that you use to get through this planet. And you want to make sure that that vessel, that your body is able to sort of carry you through all the years of your life. The other thing that I see here is just making sure, again, that your diet is where it should be with the 7 and 6 of Pentacles there. That has to do with making sure that there is enough nutritional value to everything that you're eating. Again, going back to not going to any sort of extremes. Overall, I feel like you can deal with it, but there is a little bit of cleaning up some of you have to do, either in your emotional well-being or perhaps in some sort of physical issue that you've maybe not been dealing with. This is the month to take care of it, to work with a doctor that is supportive, is open-minded, and you need to be open-minded as well. Looking at wealth, we have divine healing going on here, and that absolutely ties into what we saw with the 7 of Pentacles. Make some smart decisions, understand what you need to do to improve things, and stick on that path, stick with that new approach. The sort of caption on this says, honor your sensitivity, retreat to recharge and heal. Your light can support others. So for many of you, that's what we saw here from the past, was that need to sort of take care of you first. But I'm going to say at the end of the month, there's a chance to sort of come back out and share your light and share your energy again. As we look in love, the message this month is giving and receiving, reciprocity. So this month, be equally enthusiastic about both ends of the spectrum. If you're in a place where you can give a little bit more, do that. That could be service, that could be love, that could be just spending some time with someone you love, like your pet, your animal. It could be catching up with an old friend or a child or lover, whatever it is. Spend a little time, spend a little love on them. It will come right back at you. The other thing is be open to new opportunities in your life. It's interesting, even when we were talking about body language, if somebody kind of closes themselves off or isn't looking or can't receive a compliment or an opportunity, you could be cutting yourself off. If something comes through this month, rather than going immediately to the thought that, what is their angle, or do I deserve this, or why is this happening? Be open to it and say, tell me more. This sounds really exciting. Because I feel like many of you are on the precipice of change and abundance. It could be love. It could just be finally feeling like there's something that you really want to do, and just be open to it. In fact, that's exactly what we see here with the 3 of Swords in reverse, is to heal, to open, to kind of like melt that sort of energy that got stuck in your heart and just allow it to shine. In your meditation this month, that's one area that you could really focus on allowing growth and healing to take place. The final card is very ambiguous in its illustration, and this is an interesting deck because there's a message on the back here. It says mystery. I'm going to read a little bit about what it says while you look at the picture. It says, a shaman can teach you about power, a magician can train you to become strong in spirit and competent in your endeavors in life, but to describe how a miracle happens or how you come to be a powerful magician is to try to explain the mystery. There's more, but that's the salient piece here, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, believe in magic. This card was reversed. I think some of you may have lost hope or lost the ability to sort of embrace the impossible. This month, give yourself permission to dream, and dream big. Of course, we all have things that we have to do. We have to make money, we have to feed our bodies, we have to take care of people that depend on us. But we also need hope. We need desires. We need ambitions and goals to kind of inspire us to get up every morning. So I want you to cultivate that. Way back in the beginning of this reading, I was talking about the stuff that happens underneath the surface, the seeds that you're planting that will eventually take you from the 7 of Pentacles to that 9 of Pentacles, which didn't show up in this spread. So to get that intangible card, that sort of reach card that I saw that is at your potential, that is within reach, you have to believe in yourself and you have to put yourself out there. And it's time to sort of surround yourself with people that can see the same thing that you can see. So if you haven't allowed yourself to do something just for you, just for the sake of trying, of experiencing, this is the month to put that into play. Whether that is something purely artistic or experiential, deciding you're just going to dance because it's fun. Who cares what it's going to do? It's great exercise, but you're not really trying to do anything other than to allow your body to flow. That's an example of something that's just there to help you look forward to doing something. I want you to create some new habits. Break the habits that aren't working. Tell Mr. Diablo no more, and now decide to put new habits into play. Habits that make you feel healthy, habits that inspire other people. New sort of structures in place that are going to support you on your journey to success, independence, and abundance. It's there, it's ready. Embrace that idea, embrace that big dream that wants to come through, and know that you can be on your way to that. Know that the universe is very mysterious, that it is abounding with magic. The fact that we're all on this planet in and of itself is magical, and that we have the ability to live and die and live again, it's magical. We haven't even, sort of like tapped into the very beginning of that iceberg of the universe and possibilities. So this month, give yourself credit and go after something that matters. This is going to continue to lift your spirits and bring you into a higher frequency. That higher frequency is going to be an attractive force, which brings in new love, which allows for you to heal your mind, your body, your spirit, and your money, since this came in with your wealth. And that's going to be ultimately something that sustains you for not just this month, but your entire life. All right. On that note, let's go ahead and review everything that we talked about, and then I'll move along to the closing message. Your channeled message this month had everything to do with making room for new opportunities, as well as managing resources. And we talked about that Seven of Pentacles card, which did materialize in the spread. This shows that you're on the path to growth, and it's encouraging you to really embrace the space in your life as a place where new things can come through. And let's add to that and say new and better things. But you have to be willing to embrace what wants to come through. And that's the point where many of you need to sort of focus and meditate a little bit. In the Catalyst card this month, there was this underlying message of magic that wants to come through, but it requires a belief in yourself. Also going back to what brings you a sense of happiness, fulfillment, desire. Not being afraid to embrace those things, and again, the magic that accompanies them. Remember this month that you have the necessary resources, but you need to find balance. Part of that includes knowing when to push back, when to say no, and for some of you also when to delegate. It's a fine line to walk, but as you sort of set that in motion this month, it opens up new opportunities and growth, as we saw here in the crowning card. Looking at what's affected you in the deep past, Three of Cups in reverse is saying this is a month to heal any sort of emotional wounds you have. Whether these stem from a past relationship or something that's coming through right here, right now in the environment, this is the month to really allow for clearing to happen in that area. In the recent past, Nine of Wands, it's an indication of how much work you've done to get where you're at. Don't give up. If there's someone in your life, however, that's starting to abuse their position of power or is somehow pushing you into something that you don't want to do, remember again that you have to stand up for yourself and find your own way of being happy. You can't please everyone in your life. Sometimes saying no means being unpopular, but also it's what's healthiest for you and most sustaining for you. So follow that inner voice and don't let anyone push you onto a path that you don't feel good about. Seven of Pentacles, recovery, growth, improvement. But what's necessary with this is a sense of releasing something, whether it's a habit from the past that's not working or just releasing a codependent relationship. And as we talked about in the channeled message, trying to make some room for something new, a new opportunity in your life. That's important. I do see an improvement with your emotional state and also potentially some new love coming in for some of you, or an improvement in the love situation. But we have to kind of look at this diagonal here between the Three of Cups, the King of Cups, and the Three of Swords, and attached to the Three of Swords, the Devil and the King of Wands. All of this is saying that a past relationship could be imprinting itself on a current one, either a pattern from the past. And this month you have a chance to sort of release that and embrace what looks like a good person and a good opportunity. Also, if you're in a happy relationship, but some scars from the past are presenting themselves, maybe in the way the person acted, or in the way that something's going on in your environment, it just triggered a memory. This is a chance to deal with whatever that was. Again, even though this isn't the moon, it contains the moon in this card. So sometimes those fears and anxieties from the past come through again. This is the chance to release them and to be healthy and happy in your current relationships. As we look at your health, I actually feel like a lot of you have done some hard work to get where you're at right now. Perhaps you've improved your diet, your health, you've taken on some better sort of habits, as we said, in your life. But there's still some work to do, and there's a warning here not to burn the candle at both ends. So physical activity is really, really important. We'll get more into that in a moment. But most importantly, I think, is the emotional component, which is standing your ground. The environment, King of Wands in reverse, again, make sure that you keep an open mind and also that those around you are listening to you. If you don't feel heard or if you don't feel appreciated, this might be a month where you decide to go out on your own, to dissolve a contract, to find something that suits you better. Three of Swords in reverse is saying that your heart wants to heal, that it can heal, and that it will if you approach and sort of deal with whatever's coming through emotionally this month. The outcome, Devil reversed. This is showing that for many of you, it's a success card because this says you're unshackling yourself. You're letting go of something that was either codependent, toxic, or made you afraid. You're facing your fears. And when you do that, as we see here in the wealth area, there's healing that's going to come through for many of you. So I really encourage you to do that. And I definitely see improvement when it comes to money, career, and self-confidence, because for me, Pentacles can also be about your self-worth. How you feel about yourself is absolutely related to how others value you and see you. In health here, we have impartiality. Try to see your life through a nice neutral lens. Don't get too attached to anything that's going on. Really try to understand it for the lesson that's there. Make sure that your doctors, your friends, anyone that's helping you on that path is also in that same neutral zone. Everything this month was about balance. We see the balance here. We see the balance here. And with the heart of this spread and also the health card here kind of centering around balance, you're going to be in your best possible light when you find a way to allow for everything to be reciprocal. Looking at wealth, divine healing coming in, a chance for you to improve your finances. I saw in the distant future, many of you, you're going to find your way to the Nine of Pentacles. So keep that vision within your mind's eye. It's all about giving and receiving when we look at relationships. And if you're ready to receive, love will come to you. It's here on the horizon here. I will say this, for those of you that are already in a relationship, this can be about giving and taking, offering gratitude, and celebrating the love that is there. There's definitely some healing that still has to be done. This could be healing with your own sort of approach to how you view yourself, because the King of Wands can be very stubborn and may not be seeing things in the same way that others are. It looks like the world here is viewing you as a very worthy participant, someone that has a lot to offer. You have to see that same quality within yourself. So that self-love will equal greater opportunities in the future as well. And then in your Destiny card, everything ends the way it began, with a sense of mystery and magic. The back of the card said that you can't explain everything away. You have to believe that miracles or wonderful opportunities are on the horizon. If you wake up in the morning and expect something good to happen, the likeliness that something good will happen is higher than if you wake up with a pessimistic attitude, thinking that today is going to be worse than yesterday. I want you to start to believe that you are on a brand new path. I want you to embrace the opportunities that are coming through, to heal anything financially that you need to. And once you do that, the balance is going to find you. And then everything is going to start to feel a lot more manageable. And hopefully the sense of love and joy that was coming through is going to be right there at your fingertips. This brings your monthly reading to a close, but hopefully you received the guidance that you need to embrace both the challenges and also the opportunities that are in the month of October for you. If you ever feel like you would like to connect a little bit more, maybe ask some questions about something going on in your life, whether it's a big decision, spiritual growth, or something else that we didn't have a chance here to cover in the general reading, I'm here for you and I'd love to talk to you. The way that you can reach out to me is by clicking on the first card in the video or the first link below. That'll take you to my website where you can take a look at rates and availability. And if it makes sense, then I look forward to chatting with you. Another way that you can support the channel is by becoming a patron. And this basically means that if you like what you see and you'd like to give back, you can give a one-time contribution or a sustaining one. And you can do this through Patreon, through YouTube itself with that new join button, or doing a one-time donation on my website using PayPal. Any of these methods really make a difference, not only in helping me buy new supplies like the deck of cards that I was using today, but more importantly in carving out the calendar time to do this. I try to reserve roughly half of the month in order to do really high quality videos. So your support allows that to be a reality. So to help me out, click on the second card, second link, and you can check out all of the ways to do so there. Finally, if you haven't already liked this video and subscribed to the channel, please consider doing that. Subscribing especially lets me and also YouTube know that this is an important channel. It makes a difference. So I just like to say thanks for doing that. You can also join me on social media. To see all of the different links to my social media platforms, click on the third card or the third link. From there, you can join me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also get my newsletter if you don't have that already. Additionally, feel free to share this on your social media networks. As you know, one of my goals on this planet is not only to raise consciousness, but to start intelligent conversations about spirituality. So whenever you share it, you help me in that goal, and that means a lot as well. Let's go ahead now and talk about your final word for the month, or the final piece of advice. As I look at everything in front of me, I see two basic things that are coming through. One is healing, but in order for that healing to happen, there's this sort of inner strength that is coming forth, an ability to recognize the patterns that you want to let go of, and then believing in the ability for things to shift and change, taking that leap of faith and understanding that magic and mystery are actually part of the universe. That we don't understand everything that we see, but if we trust in the kind of overall mechanics and energies that work with us, the universe has our back. And there's a misperception sometimes that, life is happening to you. I say this repeatedly, but I think it's important to kind of reinforce it. We actually call in a lot of the experiences in our life, and they're also coming through for our experience and for our benefit. So life is happening for us, not to us. And when you realize that it's all there as sort of a buffet, you get to kind of choose what you want to put more energy in. And that's, if you could think of it that way, how do you want to feed your soul this month? You can continue to feed it with some of the negativity that's out there, or you can feast on the opportunity, the positivity, and the light. Bring in the light into your life and believe in the possibilities. I see a really nice shift happening. And one thing that I see is healing and growth with money and opportunities and self-worth. When that happens, people start to embrace you. Are you ready to embrace them back? This is the big sort of question, especially when I'm looking at love. So it's sometimes when we get what we want, we're not ready for it. So I'm just going to kind of prepare you that I see love and opportunity coming on the horizon. Do the work this month so that you can celebrate that and that you feel like you're ready to get back out there and share your love, share your light, and share your joy. I'd like to end with gratitude. You have a lot of choices in life and also here on YouTube. Both Apollo and I would like to say thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your last 45 minutes or so. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and make this month count. There's a lot to look forward to. All right, I'll see you again in November. Take care of yourselves.